Hey everyone, it's Mama Ash from GH Canada UK, and welcome back to Ash's GH Soapbox. Well, me beauties. Port Charles has officially decided it was going to be more intense than ever. Because this week we have secrets, danger, confrontations, family drama, shocking discoveries, and enough chaos to make us all exhausted we may need a nap afterwards. So grab your coffee or something stronger because honestly, me beauties, this week looks like we might need it. Get comfy, and let's talk about all the General Hospital madness that came our way June 29th to July 3rd, 2026. In Monday's episode, Alexis and Sunny talked about Christina and Molly. Christina is at medical school and how Molly's book launch is coming up. Alexis says that Rick is so proud of Molly. Sunny says, well, we're proud of Christina too. But, oh my God. Then Alexis started talking about Danny. She's concerned because he's doing crazy things that can get him into trouble. Yeah, Earth to Alexis, he's Sam's son. He has the protector vibe going on, just like his mom and Jason. In the next scene, we see Danny and Charlotte running into the Q's boathouse. She says she's pretty sure the WSB agent was going to chloroform her and kidnap her. She's grateful he came back and rescued her. Cody and Molly are at the Metrocourt pool, and they have a really sweet conversation, and then James, oh my word, that kid squirted them with a super soaker. Cody was not impressed, and Molly asked how long he has to look after James. He says until his dad and Felicia return from France. Methinks Molly thinks he's a handful, and she's right. Even Maxie knows her kid is an absolute caution. He is after all her son, it's in the genes. At the PCPD, Detective Fitzpatrick and Ada Justine Turner talk about Willow and whether she really was involved in the hit and run despite the fact she hadn't. Here's a wild thought: what if someone took her car to make it look like she did it? What if Drew has been faking the paralysis the whole time, or Scout took the car? Crazier things have happened. We also found out that Britt was arrested in the British Virgin Islands, and Dante sent word that he's bringing Rocco home. Can I just say Dante and Lulu are acting like the morality police when their fathers have taken people to safe houses in the past to protect them? Britt was doing the exact same thing, and she let Sunny know what was happening. Why didn't he tell Dante and Lulu he helped her? But this is Port Charles, so common sense goes out the window and drama reigns supreme. Cassius updates Cullum, and me beauties, whenever Cullum is involved, I feel like we should all put our seatbelts on because trouble is probably already warming up in the background. Cullum asks Cassius what he intends to do about the Sidwell problem. Cullum asks him to kill Sidwell. In France, Anna gets her blood pressure checked, and she tells Felicia, once they're alone, about Cassius not being Nathan but his twin. Felicia remains skeptical, and honestly, when Felicia's instincts start tingling, maybe everyone should listen. Back in Port Charles, Cody is asking James how he got the super soaker into the pool area. All I could think was, please engage your brain, Cody. James brought it in, and you were not smart enough to catch him before he did. But never mind that Cody's phone got drenched. Molly says her parents are better apart than together. Back in France, Emma is worried about Anna, and Mac tells her he doesn't think Anna is ready to come home. Anna shows Felicia proof that Liesl had twin boys. Back in Port Charles, Sunny tells Alexis that Cullum is dangerous and that they need to make Danny stay clear of him. Then, the oh shit moment came. Sunny tells Alexis that Cullum killed Marco. Back at the boathouse, Danny tells Charlotte he saw the guy with the earpiece and gun holster and thought she was in danger. He asks her why Cullum would come after her. She says as leverage to get to Valentine. Jason and Valentin have raised these kids to be street smart and made them aware of how enemies may use them to lure their dads into danger. Meanwhile, at the PCPD, Justine tells Fitzpatrick they should send in the SWAT team to smoke Sidwell out. Holy shit. Things are getting real, really fast. Cassius is shocked that Cullum wants him to kill Sidwell. Cullum says if Cassius does not eliminate Sidwell, things will not end well for Joss and Liesl. Alexis is shocked when she hears from Sunny that Cullum killed Marco, and seems like she does not believe it until Sunny tells her that Lucas relayed that info to him. Fitzpatrick tells Cassius saline solutions were in the vials that were meant for Britt. Cassius seems genuinely shocked at this news. And oh my God, we saw Ezra Boyle closing his car trunk and driving somewhere. We then saw Ezra, that skeezy prick, opening his car trunk, and Sidwell climbs out of it smiling. Wait. What the actual fuck? Are you kidding me right now? Justine tells Sunny that they have located Sidwell's safe house thanks to Laura and Jordan. Justine warns Sunny to be careful because Sidwell is coming after him, but Sunny says he will be careful and he's ready for him. This may mean Sidwell may pay a visit to the Pine Barrens. We haven't seen that place in 16 years. We need to see it again, because there were some good scenes at that place. Oh my god, Sidwell, that crazy bastard, is ranting and raving about finding Marco's killer, and he says he does not trust Cullum. Ezra says to him, yeah, he is a creeper, with a corpse-like vibe to him. I spat my drink out hearing this. We at Ash's Soapbox have said it for months now. Jens even laughed, and he asked Ezra to take care of Cullum while he goes after Sunny. The next thing we saw was Cassius and Fitzpatrick burst into the house with their guns pointing at them. Ezra says, whoa, innocent man here. Oh, geez, liar, liar, pants on fire, didn't you threaten Laura and Lulu once and stab Sidwell in the back claiming you were being blackmailed? What a weasel. Cassius and Joe try to arrest Sidwell, but Sidwell outs Cassius by calling him Cassius and not Nathan in front of Fitzpatrick and Ezra. Back in France, Felicia and Mac talk about Nathan not being Nathan. Felicia tries to contact Cody, but she only gets his voicemail. She leaves a message saying that he needs to keep James away from Nathan because they have reason to believe he's not Nathan. Emma is worried about Anna and hugs her Nana when she gets upset. Justine tells Sunny, please be careful. Sunny says he has security around him and his family. Sunny says he wants to kill Sidwell. Justine says if he does, she won't look the other way. Speaking of Sidwell, he has poor Joe and Ezra as victims in his sick, twisted game. Sidwell laughs at Fitzpatrick, saying that Cassius is not Nathan but his twin. Fitzpatrick says, what's he talking about, West? Cassius then pulls his gun on Fitzpatrick and says sorry, Joe, while Sidwell stands there and laughs at him and Ezra. Ugh, this is getting on my nerves. Someone needs to kill Sidwell and Cullum pronto. On Tuesdays, Tracy and Sunny talked about keeping Gio safe from Sidwell. Tracy is concerned for his safety because she knows Sidwell is targeting Sunny. We then saw Ava meeting up with Nina, and Nina finds out Ethan is guarding Ava. At the batting cages, James is excited to be practicing his swings with Cody and wants to film himself. Cody starts bitching about his phone being waterlogged after James got him with his super soaker. Come on, Cody, stop reminding him about it. James talks about how Maxie, Spinelli, and his sisters went to see the Grand Canyon. James says he didn't want to see the Grand Canyon and says it's just a hole. Carly meets up with Danny and Charlotte, and they tell her one of Cullum's agents tried to kidnap her. We then moved to where Joss and Liesel are being held prisoner. Liesel comes in and she tells her that the prototype is complete. We then see Cassius and Joe holding Sidwell at gunpoint. It was the continuation of Monday's ending. Cassius then turns the gun on Joe, but Cassius pulls the gun back on Sidwell. Back at the Q's boathouse, Charlotte fills Carly in on how Danny took the WSB agent out and how they came there to be safe. Carly says that Cullum obviously has no clue that Valentine turned himself into the WSB. Cullum, that poisonous snake, went to see Jack in Turning Woods. He tells Jack he put a DNR on his records should anything happens to him. Then he puts gloves on, which makes me think he's going to kill him. Back to Joss and Liesel. Joss loses it with Liesel for finishing the project and for trusting Cassius. Over at the Metro Court, Nina says that Ethan is not bad to look at. Ava says he's there to guard her, not to look at. Ethan goes, hey, I heard that. And then Ava dismisses him. She says the job of a guard is to be seen and not heard. She gestures for him to leave. He smiles at her. Back at Sunny's office, Sunny tells Tracy that she should be talking to Gio about moving back to the Q's, not him. Back to Sidwell and Cassius. Cassius makes Joe drop his gun, and he tells him to get to the floor. Back at the batting cages, James talks so proudly of the man he thinks is Nathan. Meanwhile, back at the Metro Court, Ava says that Justine arrested innocent people before. No wonder Sidwell is still running around free. Ava is hilarious. She has a point. Oh shit, I was right about Cullum killing Jack. He's suffocating him. And oh shit again, Cassius knocks Joe out and pulls his gun on Sidwell. Back at Sunny's office, Gio arrives. Tracy asks Gio to come back and live at the Q's to keep him safe. At Ava's art gallery, she tells Ethan, you're my bodyguard, not my babysitter. She tells Ethan that she is not Sidwell's partner in crime. Oh no, Justine shows up and heard the conversation. She says she was wondering that herself. Joss tries to convince Liesel that Cassius is just as bad as Faison was given the fact he is his son. Cassius lets Jens escape and holds Ezra at gunpoint. Carly tells Danny and Charlotte she's going to Windmere to get Joss, and Danny, bless his heart, channels Sam and says, "You can't go to Windmere on your own, that's nuts." He wants to go with her, so does Charlotte. They both say their dads would want her to be safe. Charlotte says she'll get Carly into Windmere. At Turning Woods, Cullum further threatens Jack and turns up the canister to kill him. Sonny tells Geo about the danger that is Sidwell, and Tracy tells Geo that he should listen to them. Hell has frozen over Tracy, and Sonny are on the same side for once. Carly tells Danny and Charlotte she can't put them in danger. They say that their dads would want them to protect her. Then Charlotte says, "You helped with my dad, let me help you get your daughter back." Meanwhile, at Turning Woods, Jack is struggling to breathe and appears to be dead. Ethan charms Justine and is told by Ava to leave, so she can talk to Justine in private. She tells Justine she already told the WSB everything. Justine says, "I need you to go over it again." Geo says he's not leaving Sonny. Ezra attempts to leave Fitzpatrick on his own, but Joe wakes up. Joe tells him to wait. Cassius shows up at the batting cages, and he says he's there to hang out with James and promises no more bad guys. Tracy is pissed off that Geo chose to live with Sonny. She talks about how Michael was attacked in a firebomb. Ezra helps Joe and calls 911 and asks them to hurry. Charlotte gives Carly all the info on the tunnels at Windmere. Carly tells Charlotte and Danny to stay at the queues. But once she leaves, they decide to follow her. Joss tells Liesel back at Windmere that she's done waiting for Cassius. Nina finds Jack in his precarious situation and freaks out. Joss and Liesel make a plan to escape, and Cody finally gets his phone to work and hears Felicia's message about Nathan being an imposter just as James is leaving with Cassius. On Wednesday and Thursday's shows, we saw some funny and kick-ass moments. First of all, on Wednesday show, Cody stopped Cassius from taking James. Maxie would have freaked the fuck out if Cody had just let Cassius take him. Sidwell took Ava, Sonny, Ethan, and ADA Justine Turner hostage. Ethan jumped in front of Ava, and he got shot in the ass. At Windmere, Charlotte and Danny set off firecrackers to cause a distraction. Meanwhile, Nina went to see Jack at Turning Woods and decides to perform CPR on him. Joss and Liesel cut the power to leave their prison. Meanwhile, Carly got into Windmere, and she managed to get caught by Cullum. Meanwhile, Cassius escapes, but not before telling Ezra to call 911. Ezra, the lily-livered freak, called 911, and Fitzpatrick goes to GH, where he says they need to put out an APB on Nathan because he's working with Sidwell. So back at Windmere, Carly picks up a fireplace poker just as a WSB agent is about to attack her, and she whacks him over the head. On Thursday's episode, everything kicked off in classic GH fashion, just the way I love it. So we saw Felicia and Anna talking about Anna's theory about the Nathan imposter being true. At Windmere, Joss and Liesel discuss Cassius and getting the hell out of their prison. Meanwhile, James was with Cody and was upset because Nathan has decided to leave town. Tracy shows up deciding to shout the odds about the paddock door being open and her horse, Thor, had escaped and ate Lila's prize flowers. Until she saw James was upset, and she speaks to Cody in private about what was going on while Molly and James made s'mores together. It was a sweet moment amongst the chaos that ensued next. Carly fought with the WSB agent, and Cassius showed up to save her. He shot the guy who was planning on killing her. He gives her the code to release Joss and Liesel from their prison. Carly sees Joss, and just as Joss and Liesel open the door, Carly walks in and hugs Joss. Back at the gallery, Sonny manages to unarm Jens and he rescues Justine. Meanwhile, in the storeroom, Ava is trying to help Ethan. Ethan sees his own blood and asks if it's his and passes out again. Nathan Dean was killing these scenes with his wit. As Ethan, it reminded me of Luke. The police show up and Jens is finally arrested. Back at Windmere, though, Joss and Liesel filled Carly in on all the Cassius drama. Felicia tells Anna's doctor that everything Anna says about Cassius is true. Anna is told she can go home. Meanwhile, back at Windmere, Joss locks Liesel and her mom in the room, and she backs up Cassius during a shootout. But here's the thing, back in France, Anna seems to be better, but she saw Peter's ghost, which means she's still unwell. At Windermere, Carly is worried about Joss. Liesl tells her Joss is resourceful, and so is Cassius. They will be fine. Carly hovers over Liesl, who starts getting annoyed. She tells Carly now she knows where Joss gets it from. The attitude, obviously. As the saying goes, like mother, like daughter. Outside Windermere, Cullum shows up and argues with Cassius. Cullum tells Cassius Britt never had Huntington's disease and that they told her that to force her to work on the project. Joss gets shot, so does Cassius. Joss manages to crawl on the ground to get a rifle, and she shoots Cullum in the chest. As she lay there bleeding, she hears a helicopter in the sky. It lands and a man in glasses and a suit approaches her. He tells her everything is going to be okay. I honestly believe it was the storm before the calm. On Friday's episode, Dante and Lulu bring Rocco home now that Director Cullum is dead. Molly accompanies Danny and Charlotte to speak to the WSB. She tells them not to go off script. Carly is desperate to see Joss, but the WSB agent who's guarding the door won't let her see her. Lucas apologizes for Carly and takes her away to calm her down. Britt gets a visit from Liesl in lockup, and it doesn't go well. Liesl is furious with Britt for knowing that Cassius was pretending to be Nathan. Back at Lulu's, Dante and she talked to Rocco about Britt, but the conversation does not go well as Rocco does not think Britt should have been arrested. We saw Joss and Z talking about what went down at Windermere, but she wants to see her mum. Z says no, as he needs a blow-by-blow account of what took place. He also tells her that her mum and Liesl are safe. Joss tells him everything on the condition that Valentine and Jason are released immediately. Good girl, Joss, you tell him. Danny and Charlotte speak to Agent Vaughn, who's back and talking to the kids and Molly. Dante tells Lulu that Nathan was an imposter and was his twin Cassius. She is shocked. Joss asks Z about Cassius. He tells her it's classified information, but then tells her he's dead. Carly is upset talking to Lucas, while Lulu speaks to Rocco about Britt and apologizes to him. Rocco wants to see Britt. Danny and Charlotte see Dante and they ask about Rocco and how he is. And finally, Liesl has had enough of Britt and her secrets and says she wants to see the child, who does want to know her. Who had a week of action-packed drama? This is the GH I love. Until next time, guys, this is Mama Ashley signing off. Have a great weekend, everyone.